It has now been 1 year since I found out I was going to lose my job, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Now, I've got my phone here, right? For nothing more than just to show you that today is the 2nd of December. Now, I was called to a meeting the 26th of November by the company that I was working with last year. And they got that call, right, that message, like, oh, we want to talk to you. And I went in, and then I found out I was being made redundant. The next day, the 27th of November, I found myself in hospital. I collapsed at home, and I was having a panic attack, and then I ended up in Northampton Hospital, and I talked about all of this, right? Found it immensely stressful. I don't know why, because honestly, at the beginning of that year, 2024, I was actually mentally manifesting leaving the company. And whether that was going to be through redundancy or whether that was going to be through my own choice, I had kind of started to make the decision that I wanted out of there. I had felt like I had run my course there. I was a bit drained by it all, the internal battles. I was a British member of staff working for a German organisation, and it carried a lot of the challenges. I'm Scottish, and as I mentioned in my last video, sometimes I get quite passionate about topics, and I portray them in a passionate way. And somebody messaged me just a day or two ago in the comments and said, oh, they are Scottish and they know what it's like working in organisations and how you can sometimes be deemed as, let me be brutally honest, right? I've been classified as like aggressive in my tone when I deliver a message. Now, I don't think I'm aggressive. I'm passionate, and my accent carries a particular tone. So when somebody wrote to me a couple of days ago and said, oh, you know, I've been tagged as this in my job, I really related to it, and I thought, oh, I connected with that instantly. And when I was in that last job, working for this German organisation, I found it really challenging because I was working with a lot of international people, and I am quite, you know, you can see me, I use my arms and I talk a lot and I get my point across, but that's also what made me a successful salesperson. 30 plus years in this career, going from selling bikes in Halford to a European sales director over those 30 years. Going from like a 14 grand a year salary to, when I left that last job, very close to almost, with bonuses and, you know, everything else, very close to around 200k. That's what was at the end of all of that. But I was feeling burned out by it all. And you get burned out because you're just in this relentless cycle, right, of like chasing sales. Now, I'll say this, right? Obviously, I was let go. So some people will say, well, you couldn't have been that successful, you were let go. Listen, I always prided myself on what my customers said about me. And I was recruited by different businesses because I had a great customer base, people that I worked with, people that I delivered numbers for, people that I sold products to. I had a great relationship with. And I still hear from those people now. I've been offered a couple of jobs by a couple of them who are like, we know who you are, we know what you're capable of, we like the way you go about your business, and we'd be interested in talking to you. And now obviously I'm here. I'm out here in Kuala Lumpur living a totally different life. But 1 year ago, that's when everything started to change, right? And the reason I wanted to make this video was just to say that I've had messages from people that are either going through redundancy or in the middle of it right now, or they're dealing with grief. I've read a post from somebody this morning, a young salesperson, 28 years old, that was saying they were already feeling a bit burned out, and that they had lost their father, their mother was in ill health, they'd lost an uncle, and was just dealing with a lot of grief. And I was like, wow, it just really hit me. Because I just relate to that a lot. Today is I'm sorry I'm coughing, I'm just catching my throat here. Today is the 2nd of December, right? See if you watched a video from 2 days ago. I explained to you what life was like having left the UK, helping my wife through this difficult process. Yesterday, Monday the 1st of December, she started her new job. Even though she's on a year's sabbatical, she started her new job. She spent about 6 hours on her phone and an iPad trying to connect to the company's new system. Our username didn't work, our password didn't work. They then said, wait a minute, what country are you in? Oh, I'm in Malaysia. Oh, it might be because of that. Use a VPN, so we set up a VPN for her. Then they said, oh no, we don't allow VPNs to access our systems. So 6 hours she sat yesterday trying to just get set up with a job that she's been too paid over. And today, the 2nd of December, the reason I tell you about that is she's got an invite to a meeting to start consultation discussions. You couldn't make it up? Well, you could. You knew that was coming, right? We all knew that was coming. So now my wife is going through that same scenario, wanting out or going out and just trying to get a fair agreement out of all of that. Now, why do I talk about all of this? Because 1 year ago, 26th of November, everything felt like it changed for me. My 30+ year career was like gone. And at that point I was thinking, do I really want to go back to this? And the answer to that was I didn't really want to go back to it. And that's why I took that decision off the back of my dad passing away and dealing with everything there to then start to think about a different life. And now I'm here and I've been able to build this channel. And I've got a little client base now that I'm working with to help them with their YouTube channel, working with a couple, and they've started to see some success on their channel. They've gone from tens of views to thousands of views, and I feel absolutely buzzed about that, just to be able to work with them, talk to them about their channel, their structure, their content, and they're seeing the results. And they're in the middle of selling their house. Well, it's being sold, they're waiting on the paperwork, and then they're moving out here. And Yvonne and I will be here to meet them when we get here and say hello. And we've met other people out here that have done the same, Daryl Solus and some others, making content and just living a different way. And I just think how much life has changed. And it's not to say that you need to suddenly, I'm so sorry, coughing. It's not to say that you need to change your life to the point of moving across the other side of the world or all of that. It's really just to say that if you are going through like a difficult moment, and whether you're thinking about what to do with your career, or you want out of the UK, or you think you might be going through redundancy, or you just don't want that job anymore, it doesn't really need to be the end. It really doesn't need to, and I don't mean the end like so catastrophic to that point, but just like, oh, what am I going to do? Because you'll never know what doors will open at the other side of all of that. Out the back of that redundancy, 1 year later, I feel like I've built this new entity for myself, this channel, what it gives me. I mean, even just things to say like, I've gone through this dramatic health situation, and now I'm in the gym every day here. I'm in the gym and I'm in the pool, and I'm losing a bit of weight, trying to get rid of the little bit of belly that I've got, trying to get strong. Been in the gym the last few days, right, lifting like 2.5 kilogram weights, like 2.5 kilograms, right? I'm like, in the gym, and I'll tell you, my arms are absolutely killing me. I'm getting around like dinosaur arms, like, you know, that way where your tendons and all that are stretched. But even there, like 2.5 kilograms, right? It's like, what's the point? Because you've got to start somewhere. Because if you don't start somewhere, you'll just never start. And it was the same with this. Pick up the camera and just start and see what happened. Offer out, talking to people about moving out here and offering support, and just start. Start meeting people, start taking calls, set up an email news list, mailing list, set up a newsletter, and just start, right? All just things that you just start. That's it. Like, it's not a TED talk. just shooting from the top of my head. I don't know if there's no scripts or anything. I just think about something and go, let's go walk outside and look at this area here. Look. Come out here to this little garden area and enjoy the view and just think about how much life has changed in a year. One year. And I don't miss anything from back home. I've said this before, I miss people. I don't miss the stuff that we sold. I don't miss my car. I don't miss that job. I'll tell you what about that job. The people that made me redundant, people that were involved in that process, guess what's happening to them? It's funny how the world moves around. Right, I've no idea how this looks. I just had an idea in my head to shoot it like this and I put the camera up there. I have two cameras, right? I have a Osmo Action 5, which is one that I sometimes carry around. And then this one here is a Osmo Pocket 3. And it's on a little gimbal, so it follows me around. The other one doesn't, I just carry it. And I have a little microphone here that I talk to you in. So sometimes they look a little bit different. And it just depends on what I fancy moving around in. Again, just trying things out, right? Just trying stuff out. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to do a live this week, so I'll post details of that just to take some questions and just to chat to you all, because I really like that interaction. So I'll put some details up. And then in the meantime, get that view! No idea where that helicopter was there, but it sounded amazing. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to go help Yvonne out now while she has that call later on. I'll let you know how that goes. See ya!